fucking life is calling. How far will you go?
Mm-hmm.
How far will you what?
How far will you go?
How far will you go? Yeah.
Like the Peace
Life
Corps.
is
Are you
calling.
gonna show that at the end of our conference?
Hi
If you
guys.
can finish it.
Hello.
Yeah, that's the challenge right now.
No one's on right now. I'm trying to see if we get any viewers.
Yeah, I want to know what it is.
It's 9:30 in the morning in the U.S. and East Coast time. It's 8:30 Central time. Hi. Someone just joined. Joy33. Hello. Thanks for watching. I usually try to give a few minutes for people to like, oh, someone's on. Jay's on. Hi. Thanks for joining. And then it's like people joined and then they don't join, so I don't know what's happening. I'm just gonna hang out. You want to see?
So it's like a live chat? People are watching your face right now?
Yeah, people are watching me right now. Like my mom could get on and see me talking right now.
Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah, so it's really cool. You get a live audience that can
That's
just
really
watch
cool,
you.
you know, like that person
I mean, a lot of these people I
is
don't know,
existing
but
at the
yeah,
same time.
a lot of people do like tours of their community or just like shows if they're travelers. They'll show like the view from where they're traveling.
Cool.
It's really cool. Okay, so I'm gonna get started. I just want to check in and say, hey guys. So if you're watching my Periscope for the first time, I'm Giovanni, also known as the Natural Travelista. I'm a natural hair and travel blogger and a current Peace Corps volunteer serving in the Philippines. And right now I am at our Close of Servants conference. So I'm here with some friends. I'll introduce them a little bit later. Ooh, no. Okay.
Yeah, that's fine. Do it.
I'll just do a quick review of who's all here. But we're here at our Close of Service conference, and this is our last conference as Peace Corps volunteers. It's just like wrapping up our service, talking about what we've done, our accomplishments so far, and how to readjust and how to transition into our next steps, whether we're extending or we're going to be traveling, we're going to grad school, or we're going to start working. So that's what this conference is all about. And specifically what this scope is all about is telling you all the different conferences that we attend as Peace Corps volunteers. So I'm going to jump into that in a few seconds, but before that I want to share with you some of my batchmates that I have with me here. Do you guys want to introduce yourself or me to just say your name?
Do I have to do it in English?
You can do it in however you want it. You want to do it in Tagalog? Oh, okay.
Let's do it in Tagalog.
Okay.
Let's share the Philippines.
Okay, so they're going to do, because they're feeling really fancy right now, they're going to do they're going to introduce themselves in Tagalog. And they're all Tagalog speakers, aren't you?
Yeah.
So does that mean I have to talk in Kinaraya?
Pwede.
Okay, try ako. All right, so let's start over here.
Oh, that's me.
Yes.
I'm sorry. I thought you were selfieing.
Nope.
Hello, ako po si Lauren. Taga, California ako. Hi, my name is Lauren. I'm from California. 25.
Oh my gosh.
Ooh,
You're giving the
What did
Filipino.
I eat today? No. I'm also a Peace Corps volunteer, and I serve in Romblon, which is right smack dab in the middle of the country. It's beautiful, but super isolated. And Giovanni is great. And I'm glad you're watching her Periscope right now. It's a good choice.
Thanks. So send some hearts for Lauren for her introduction. Next we'll come over here. Hey girl.
Hey, ako po si Susie. That's Key in Tagalog. You've seen me before, so I'm trying to, yeah. So, yeah.
That's it?
Yeah, that's it.
Taga saan ka?
Taga sa San Vicente, sa Camerones Norte.
Sa United States.
Oh, I'm sorry. Well, shoot, you didn't say that. Sa Virginia.
Virginia.
I'm from Virginia.
Yay. Very good. Okay. And last but not least.
Hello. Ako si Marissa. It's my beautiful seatmate that you just met earlier. Taga Hawaii. But I live here in the Philippines, in Bicol. And watch more of Jay's Periscope because she's really awesome.
Thank you. So, to everyone, ako si Giovanni, pero ang nickname ko Jay. Taga St. Louis, Missouri sa United States, pero guest star ako sa Lawaan and TK. DSWD ako, magubra ako sa DSWD. So I work with the Department of Social Welfare and Development. Yeah, that was me speaking in my local dialect, Kinaraya. Earlier today, we had our language proficiency interviews. So all of us had to do a 15 to 20 minute interview with certified language instructors in our specific dialect. So we had that earlier today. We'll get the scores tomorrow. That's another component of any of the Peace Corps conferences, is taking what we call an LPI. You'll hear me throw out a lot of acronyms. I'm sorry, paciencia. You'll hear me throw out a lot of acronyms. It's kind of second nature to Peace Corps volunteers now, but I'll try to, if I notice that I'm saying an acronym, I'll try to explain it to you. But what I'm going to go into now is just tell you about all the different conferences that we go through as volunteers. So first we start off with IO, which is, hi, thanks for joining. So I'm talking about Peace Corps conferences. So right now we're at our close of service conference, which we call COS. And I just talked about the very first conference that we go to, which is IO, which means Initial Orientation. Thanks you for the hearts. So initial orientation, that's when we first get to the country, and it's 2 weeks long. Thank you for inviting your followers. Yay, share with everyone. So that's when, and also go back and watch the replay when I'm done with this. So initial orientation, we get to the Philippines, for 2 weeks, and that's really where they cram all this information about being Peace Corps volunteer, joining the Peace Corps, and being in the Philippines. A lot of cultural integration, like this is what the food looks like, this is what transportation looks like. So they have initial orientation for 2 weeks, and then after that, we go to our sites. We go to our training sites for 3 months. We do that. After we have been sufficiently trained as volunteers, then we come back together for our supervisors conference. And supervisors conference is where our local counterparts from our different towns come to meet us for the very first time. So we get introduced to our counterparts, and they, for the first time, get to know who their volunteer is that's coming to their town. So there we do a lot of work-related activities to get to know who our counterpart is, to come up with a work plan, and to learn each other's working styles. So we do that right before our swearing-in ceremony. We do that at the embassy. We swear in and take the oath as official Peace Corps volunteers. Was there anything else I missed that we do at SupCon, Supervisors Conference? I just say we do activities, learn about our work styles, stuff like that. I think that was it.
That's pretty good.
Okay. So we've said initial orientation. We've talked about Supervisors Conference. We swear in, we go to site, and then we don't see each other again until, February for us, April for this last batch. But we come together for IST, which is in-service training. It's so in-service training, besides PDM, what do we do?
We debrief.
So, okay.
It's your language camp.
So we have a language camp. So when we have all sworn in and gone to our different sites, we're also learning different dialects. And we don't have any we have a little, but not a very intensive training on our local dialect. So when we come together for IST, we have a language camp, which is where we have a couple of days where we go through how well we are with the language so far, and learning new words and vocabulary that we can integrate moving forward in our service. So we have our language camp, and then of course, like I said, another LPI, which is the language proficiency interview. We debrief, talk about our service, talk about what we've been doing at site for the past 3, 4, 5 months. We talk about our struggles, our challenges, some of the high points and the low points that we've had in our service thus far, and it just kind of re-energizes us. So what they've done with us is they've done a super IST where they combine this in-service training with PDM, which is Program Design and Management. program design and management, and that's where we really learn how to design and craft projects for our community. So we talk about writing goals and objectives, success indicators, writing a budget. We get a lot of information on applying for grants. So I think, have you written a grant? I think all of us at this table have all received grants. So how to access funds and the different funding opportunities for our grants, and really just putting together a whole project proposal to submit to our community. So that's a big chunk of our IST is PDM, Project Design and Management. What else can you say about PDM? Anybody?
I think you kind of learn about the person that's your actual counterpart. So, you actually learn more about your supervisor, and, it's a part of bonding experience and developing a better relationship with your counterpart. Or by then, you're hoping that your relationship, it will be better, or, or you just find a little bit more about that person in a formal yet informal environment.
Good point. Of IST and PDM is your counterpart comes with you. So you met your counterpart during supervisors conference, you work with them, and a lot of times counterparts don't really understand what they're supposed to do with this volunteer, or what our work is supposed to be, and what Peace Corps is all about. So counterparts are invited to PDM because you work closely with your counterpart to develop this plan, this project proposal that's also going to be not judged but reviewed from outsiders within like the U.S. Embassy or different organizations. They'll give you critiques on your project that you come up with your counterpart. So like he said, you learn a lot about the working styles and you learn more about your counterpart, and your counterpart just gets a clearer understanding of what you're doing there in your town, and what the Peace Corps expects from you as a volunteer, and then what they expect from the local counterparts and working community. So yeah, that was a really good point. So far, let's review. We've talked about IO, which is initial orientation. We talked about SUCON, which is Supervisors Conference, and we discussed IST/PDM, so in-service training and project design and development. So we've already come to our 6-month point, whatever, 4 months. Let's go on through our service, do some more projects. Then we come to MST, which is mid-service training. And this is like the 1-year benchmark. This is where you've been at site for a little over a year, you've been in country more than a year, and now this is where we touch base and see what we've done so far and what the next year will look like. So MST, so MST is the conference right before where we are now. So this is where we wrote letters to ourselves, saying, what we look forward to seeing ourselves a year from now. I'm like drawing a blank on MST now. What else did we do in MST? We wrote letters to ourselves. We had like feedbacking with like Peace Corps staff. Feedbacking. I'm using once again, another LPI, so language proficiency interview. At every conference you have, they're going to talk about you. Yeah. So we had a lot of like subject specific like content in terms of, so like we had a workshop on politics in the Philippines because we just had our elections this past May. So talking about what we could look forward in the next year with the elections.
Did cooking class.
We had a lot of volunteer-led sessions. Yeah, that was a big part of mid-service training. So some volunteers would give feedback on what they wanted it to look like. So we've had volunteers that did self-care, how to take care of yourself in the Philippines. It's a weird time because you're like 1 year in and it's kind of like I've done so much, but I feel like I haven't done enough in this past 1 year. I'm going to take some testimonials in a minute about MST. I did a session on like homemade coconut oil, what that looks like. We have a diversity committee, so diversity committee had like a, diversity cooking session or diversity dinner. So cooking all of your favorite foods, whether it's Filipino or American or for your particular culture, making your special dishes to share with everyone. We had a session on using technology during your service. So like I'm using Periscope right now to document my service and to share my service with everyone else. So Peace Corps goal number 3, I'm using that as a constant integration between my community and back home. So how to use a blog, how to use Periscope, how to interact technology into your own community. So getting your community to use something more than Facebook, or how to use computer literacy and stuff like that. So there was a session on that. When was your library? That was IST, right? So during IST, but I guess it could have also been done during MST. It's like library development. So as a volunteer, how do you develop a community or a school library? A lot of different workshops that you can go to. So who can tell me like their experience with MST? Who would like to share? Okay, yes. MST, you were 1 year in. What were your emotions? What were you thinking? How do you feel about it now?
I actually felt like during MST it was at a point where a lot of things had changed positively for me. So I was in a good place and I was just floating along, but I feel like for a lot of people, 1 year is a weird point, so it's the time where you really ask yourself, is this something that I want to do for another year? So I think that's why it's kind of a weird time for a lot of people. But I enjoyed MST.
Thank you. Yeah, so MST, everyone is on different spectrums of the Peace Corps journey. Some people are high, some people are low. But yeah, so that's your 1 year mark, and that's where you really start planning for the future, and you write letters to yourself, and you talk about how you feel about your past year and stuff like that. So that is mid-service training. And then last but not least, where we are in this present moment. Today it's 9:40 p.m. on May 31st in the Philippines, 2016, and batch 273. We are here at our close of service conference. Yay! So this is where we are like, we have done it. We have come so far, 2 years. And so this conference is probably the fanciest conference you will ever attend. We're here at Ta'al Vista Hotel and Resort, and I'm staring across at a casino. If I look the other way, I see a whole landscape with a lake and a volcano out on the other end. We've got fancy ballrooms. We have delicious food that I did not know existed in the past 2 years. We had lasagna. I had not thought about lasagna. Hadn't thought about lasagna for this morning. This morning for breakfast, I had to do a gallery walk. I had to look at the food at breakfast this morning and say, is this real?
They have beef lasagna.
And I had to say, can we actually eat this? Is it free? So there was bacon, there was omelets, there was croissants, there was yogurt and fresh fruit, and it was. I'm gonna see if I can do a Periscope tomorrow on breakfast at COS. That is a Periscope I'm doing tomorrow. So if you're watching this replay or you're watching live, please don't miss my Periscope tomorrow. I'm doing what our breakfast display looks like, and it's going to be awesome. I'm so mad because I missed the French toast this morning, but I'm going to get it tomorrow. No questions asked.
Yeah. You have to decide between savory and sweet.
No, you have both. Savory and sweet. You do not choose.
But always bacon.
Always bacon.
But always bacon.
So this conference is for us to remember that these things exist. It's time to listen, you've deserved all of this because you survived these 2 years.
Fancy.
Yes. It's you deserve. So this is our celebration. And it's also, like I said, getting integrated back into American culture or going back to America. So there's a lot of logistical and administrative things that we have workshops on, but we also just talk about accomplishments as a group, our accomplishments as a batch, and then accomplishments as individual sectors. So we have our education sector, we have our children, youth, and family sector, and then we have our coastal resource management. So we have our breakout sessions talking about like achievements that we've done so far.
Not really. If I did, I would
We have a lot of networking events talking about careers as we go forward into the future, how to brand your Peace Corps experience, how to market it, how to pitch it. So when you're going on job interviews, a lot of people, their mindset, they only have so much to listen to about your 2 years. So like how to really talk about your 2 years in like 30 seconds. So they're going to be talking about that, I think, tomorrow. A lot of celebration, like evening activities, so like pool parties, and what else? We had admin stuff, we had medical stuff. We just heard from like our country directors and all of our staff about how proud they are, and it's really weird to hear them say congratulations, because they're like, congratulations, and I'm like, thanks. Wait, for what? And I'm like, oh, COS. Like, that's something to be excited about. So we talk about that. What else? This is our handbook. I'm trying to see what else I'm missing. Talking about packing, talking about actual logistics of leaving the country, sending stuff back. Because think about it, we've been living here from 2 years and we've accumulated so much stuff, but we can only take 100 pounds of luggage back to America. So how to like really downgrade. And yeah, so some people decided to extend for a year or 3 months or 6 months. So they have sessions specifically for those people that are deciding to extend their Peace Corps, what that looks like, and just cultural integration, reverse culture shock, which is real. Yeah. And so now we're in June. We have our close of service conference, and then we go back to site for June, July, August, 2 or 3 months, depending on when you are actually leaving the country. So this is just wrapping up, and this is also weird because for some of these volunteers that I'm even sitting at this table with, this might be the last time I see them before I leave the country. You're early COSing. Key, are you early COSing?
No.
Are you early COSing? Yeah, so like I'll see Lauren because we're both leaving the country at the same time. So I'll see her around the hostel and around the Peace Corps office. For Kitoya and Marissa, they're leaving a month later than me. So after this conference, if I don't go out of my way to see them, to go to the island, or we don't want to pass, I may not see them before I leave. So this is also, I know, I'm trying not to let it hit me, but like, this is rough when you think about it in that context, that this is like the end in terms of like your relationships that you've built with people. So it's a bittersweet conference. You're like excited, like, yeah, I've made it. But then it's like, no, you're leaving. So, yes, this is a bittersweet time. Still got 2 more days, so you might catch some more Periscopes from me along the way. But I'm going to wrap up. But before I do, I'm just going to give, once again, a final overview. These are all the Peace Corps conferences that you attend as a volunteer. And I'm going to try to see if I can upload this to YouTube, because I think this will be really good for future volunteers to watch so they know what to expect in terms of conferences. So first you have I.O. There's initial orientation. You have your training. Then you have Supervisors Conference, which we call SUPCON, which I think they actually turn to Counterparts Conference. Then you soar in, you're at site for a few months, and then you have IST/PDM, which is in-service training and program design and development. That is about 4 or 5 months after site. Then after that, you go away to site, and you are then presented with MST, mid-service training, which is where you're in service for a year. So you have another conference then. And then from there, mid-service training is in October, and you don't meet again as a whole group until June or July of the following year. And that's when you come together for your close of service conference, which is where we are right now. So if you have watched this Periscope for this long, I thank you. Don't be afraid to send some hearts. Don't be afraid to share with friends. and family and all of your followers. If you know someone that is in the Peace Corps, has served in the Philippines, or served in the Peace Corps, share this video with them and see if they can relate with some of the things I talked about. If you know someone that's going to be joining the Peace Corps in the future or coming to the Philippines, share this video with them so they can see what conferences they can look forward to, all right? So I'm going to sign off. Before that, I'm going to let my guest here give their final goodbyes. So we're going to go reverse order. Yes, we're all tired. So good night, good morning, wherever you are. Thanks for watching.
Oh, good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you, everyone, again. Tune in to the next session.
Yes, thank you. And last but not least,
Bye-bye.
Lauren.
Ingat. Miss you already. Come back soon.
Have to have them on again soon. So thanks for watching. If you want to find more of my Periscope broadcasts, I have some on my YouTube page, The Natural Travelista. If you just want to follow me on social media and see some more pictures that I'm posting, Pinterest, Instagram, Twitter, The Naturalista, the THE, Naturalista, NATRAVELISTA. And I'm also on Facebook, The Natural Travelista. So thanks for watching. Catch the next scope, and I will see you all later. Bye-bye.